What's up, guys? My name is Carl. I'm a veteran Tekken player, and I'll be sharing fundamental things you need to know about Tekken 7. Tekken 7 is a 3D fighting game. Unlike 2D fighters, you can sidestep to the left or to the right to avoid attacks and gain the upper hand. You can also jump, but it's rarely useful. There are 4 attack buttons by default. There's a left punch, a right punch, a left kick, and a right kick. Depending on the platform you play on, these buttons will be labeled differently. To help make communicating easier across all platforms, we say left punch is 1, right punch is 2, left kick is 3, and right kick is 4. As for directional inputs, we say U for up, D for down, B for back, and F for forward. But in Tekken, we also commonly use the diagonal inputs as well. Between up and forward is up forward, aka UF. Between forward and down is down forward, aka DF. Between down and back is down back, aka DB. And between back and up is up back, aka UB. For example, down forward is done on a fight stick by positioning the stick between the down and forward inputs, and on a pad or hitbox by pressing both the forward and down inputs at the same time. You do not slide your inputs from down to forward like you are doing a quarter circle forward motion, aka fireball, and you do not quickly press down then forward either. Every attack can either be a high, a mid, a low, a special mid, or an unblockable. Every character has at least one unblockable attack that does significant damage, but they are usually very slow. Some characters have quicker ones though, but they do much less damage. And some characters can even cancel their unblockable, like Jin. You can block both highs and mids by holding back, aka stand block, but high attacks can be crouched under. Mid attacks cannot be crouched under. Low attacks are blocked by tapping and holding down or down back, aka crouch block. Most attacks can be done when you're in a standing state, no surprise there, a crouch state, aka full crouched or FC for short, a running state, aka while running or WR for short, when you are sidestepping, aka SS, and when you are in a while standing state. Full crouched attacks require you to hold down first. Brian's full crouch down forward 4 is done by holding down, then tapping and holding down forward 4. While running state requires your character to take a few steps first, or it can be possibly done by tapping forward 3 times first. While running 3 is the most commonly used running attack in the game. There's also a running slide, a mid running cross chop, an armored running attack, and a running tackle. A sidestep attack can be done only when you're sidestepping, but more on that shortly. So, what is a while standing state? This is when you hold down, or release it down, and then tap the appropriate button. In this case, let's try to do while standing 1. I'm going to hold down, release down, and then press 1. Some moves will automatically leave you in a while standing state, or they can leave the opponent in a while standing state. For example, Brian's down back 3. After down back 3 hits, I'm going to press left punch, and this will automatically give me while standing 1. While standing attacks are primarily used to beat high attacks and punishable lows. Let's look at both quickly. If Paul does his down forward 1-1 string, as you can see, it is a mid followed by a high. In this situation, you can stand block the first hit, crouch under the second hit, and then perform a while standing attack. And for punishing lows, let's try blocking Paul's downfall. When you block it, Paul goes into a stagger animation, giving you an indication that this move is very punishable. After I block it, I'll release down or down back and then press right punch. Take note, most punishable lows don't give you this type of visual indicator or sign that you can punish it, like down 4 does. Sidestepping. You can sidestep left by tapping up, then releasing the up instantly. To sidestep right, you tap down and release instantly. To sidewalk left, you tap up, release instantly, then quickly hold up. Sidewalking right is done the same way, but with down inputs instead. Most characters have moves you can access only when you're sidestepping. Let's try Brian's sidestep left punch. I'm going to tap up, neutral, so tap release instantly, and as soon as I release, I'm going to tap left punch. You could also do this to the right. Take note, you don't have to press the 1 right away. It is possible to delay your sidestep attacks, like this. Button buffering. Some attacks require that you press 2 or more attack buttons at the same time, like Asuka's inner strength. To do it, you can't simply press both punches at the same time. You can go to the button configuration option and set one button to be both punches. This can help you avoid misinputs, and it's tournament legal. As you can see, there are many combinations you can set to one button as well. But there's also another way. You can use the button buffering technique. Simply hold left punch, and then anytime you want inner strength, just press right punch now. It can work the other way around too. You can hold right punch, then press left punch also. While holding any of the attack buttons down, you are free to move around too. Let's take a look at the different notations in the moves list. There's a star. This symbol is for neutral. For example, let's try King's stomach smash. Forward, forward, neutral, 2. I'm going to tap forward, forward, then instantly release the forward, and then tap right punch. If you wait too long, you won't get the move. you'll get forward, forward, neutral, stand in 2. A full white arrow refers to commands you can just tap and release. But the black arrow refers to attacks that will require you to hold a directional input. Let's try King's Jaguar Hook. I'm going to tap forward, then hold forward and left punch together at the same time. If we don't hold the forward long enough, we won't get the move. We'll get forward, forward, 1. The square brackets. This means that the attack buttons in the brackets need to be pressed quickly. Let me explain. Let's try Jin's spinning flare kick. It shows 4 followed by left kick within the brackets. This means you want to press 4, then quickly press 3. You want to slide your inputs from right kick to left kick quickly, like this. Universal attack mechanics. If you scroll through the moves list, you may notice a symbol attached to some moves. There's a blue, red, green, and more recently, an orange symbol. The green symbol represents a screw attack. This is a combo extender that was introduced in Tekken 7. This replaces the bound mechanic found in Tekken 6 and Tekken Tag 2. If a screw attack hits the opponent while they are in the air, it will push them back with their feet towards you, giving you an opportunity to continue your combo. The blue symbol represents a homing move. This mechanic was introduced in Tekken 6. These are attacks that will track the opponent no matter which way they sidestep or sidewalk. Here's an example. The CPU is set to do Heihachi's down forward 1-1 string, then sidestep electric wing god fist. No matter which way he sidesteps, Kazuya's down forward 2 will track him. Some attacks may track to the left or to the right, but homing attacks track both ways, every time. In Tekken 7, you can identify these moves by the white particles that appear when they are performed. Take note, all homing moves are not the same. Some can be high, mid, low. They can be quick, slow, safe, unsafe, and even a power crush. The red symbol represents a power crush. This is also a universal mechanic that was introduced in Tekken 7. This acts as an armor move that can absorb highs and mids, but lose to lows and throws. You can identify these moves by the quick glowing animation when they start up. If you successfully armor through a move, be aware that you will still take some damage. All power crush moves are not the same. Some are slower, quicker, some are safe, unsafe. They can be highs, mids, or even a wall bound. The orange symbol represents a wall bound. This universal mechanic was introduced in Season 2 of Tekken 7. If this move hits an opponent while they are close enough to a wall, it will trigger a bounce effect. A wall bound close to max range will look like this. You can do a wall bound closer to the wall as well, but it can limit your combo potential. A wall bound won't occur if it hits while the opponent is in the air or on the ground though. Again, not all are the same. Some are quicker, some are slower. They can be highs, mids, some are safe, some are unsafe. They can be a power crush or even a homing attack. Wall jump. This mechanic was introduced in Tekken 4. It allows your character to either perform a jumping attack off the wall or escape from the corner. To perform it, you must be close enough to the wall, then quickly tap back back up back. Akuma, Eliza, and Noctis are the only characters that can't do this. Note not all characters have the same wall jump. Some can even combo off it on hit. It's not particularly good, but it can be useful at times. While we are on the topic of walls, take note, every character has at least one attack or string that can wall splat the enemy. If successful, it will firmly plant the enemy on the wall for a moment, leaving them open to be comboed. Throws. A throw is a type of attack that is designed to counter a player that is being very defensive and blocking a lot. In Tekken, there are two types of throws that can occur when facing towards the opponent. There are generic throws and command throws. Generic throws are done by inputting either 1+3 or 2+4. In older Tekken games, the 1+3 throw can be broken by inputting left punch only, and the 2+4 throw could be broken by inputting right punch only. In Tekken 7, however, you can break both generic throws with either left punch or right punch. Command throws. In Street Fighter, command throws or command grabs refer to throws that cannot be broken. In Tekken, these refer to throws that can only be broken with a specific input. It can be a 1+2 input, 1 only, or 2 only. You can tell which input you need to break them based on the animation of the hands. For a 1+2 only break, both hands will extend forward. For a 1 only break, the left hand will extend forward. And for a 2 break, the right hand will extend forward. Every character has at least one command throw. Akuma doesn't have a traditional command throw, but he does have an unbreakable throw from his demon flip. A standard throw is a high attack, which can be crouched under. But some characters have throws that can catch a crouched opponent. Take note, if you perform a throw to the opponent's side or back, you will get a new throw animation. There's a specific left side throw, right side throw, and a back throw. A back throw cannot be broken though. Rage. If you look at your health bar, it's made up of mostly a blue-green color and orange-like color. When your life reaches the orange mark or lower, you will enter Rage. Rage is a comeback mechanic that was introduced in Tekken 6. While in Rage, your character and their health bar will flash red. All of your attacks will do a little bit more damage, and you will have access to your Rage Art and Rage Drive. Rage Art is a cinematic attack sequence that can armor highs, mids, lows, and even unblockable attacks. They should primarily be used in juggles or on reaction to a whiff. Be careful using them recklessly though, since most rage arts are very punishable on block. Lucky Chloe is the only character with a low rage art. Anna, Steve, Elisa, and Jin have 13 frame rage arts that are safe on block, but can be crouched under and punished. Rage drives. These are usually enhanced versions of existing moves in a character's toolkit. These are a lot more versatile compared to rage arts. They don't have armor, some can be punished, but not all. The Crush system. This system was introduced in Tekken 5. It gives specific moves the ability to crush or beat out highs and lows consistently. Attacks that are designed to beat out highs are called high crush. These are said to be TC or technically crouch. And attacks that are designed to beat out lows are called low crush. These are said to be TJ or technically jump in. Consistent mid-crushing moves don't exist in Tekken 7, but there are moves that can evade mids. These are moves, and even stances, that can crush or evade attacks inconsistently. Let's learn some basics about frame data and punishment. Frames is a unit for measuring time. They are used to describe how fast, how slow a move is, or what state a character is in. After your character's attack is either blocked or hits, you can be in a positive state, aka plus frames or frame advantage. When in this state, depending on how plus you are, you can be free to continue attacking with little to no risk. If you are in a negative state, aka minus frames, the more minus you are, the more risky it is to continue attacking. And if you're negative enough, you can even be punished. But more on that shortly. Tekken runs at 60 FPS. This means there's 60 frames in a single second. Typically, a character's fastest move is their left punch, a crouched left jab, and generic 1-2 punches. All characters' left punch has a startup of 10 frames. The two exceptions are Jack and Ganryu. This means a typical left punch takes 1/60th of a second. There's two ways you can punish an attack. You can block punish or whiff punish. If an attack is -10 or more when blocked, they can be punished in theory. Let's try punishing Paul's generic hop kick. After a hop kick is blocked, Paul is at -13. This means if you input a move that is 13 frames or quicker, 12 frames, 11, etc., it will in theory punish. Take note, however, a 14 frame move or slower will never punish a -13 move. I've kept saying in theory because after you block a move, you won't always be in range to punish. Let's look at Paul's Phoenix Smasher, aka Dead Fist. It's -17 on block, so in theory, a 10 frame move should punish it, but as you can see, it doesn't. This is because Paul's Dead Fist has what we call pushback. This means Dead Fist will push Paul backwards after it's been blocked. In this case, you need to find a move that is at most 17 frames and has the range to hit Paul. If you block a Dead Fist up close, you can punish with some tools. But when you block it further away, these moves can now miss. Which refers to when an attack completely misses the opponent. This means the attack is neither blocked or successful. After an attack misses, depending on the move, there's a specific amount of time needed for the character to recover before they can block again. A whiff punish happens when you hit them during this recovery phase. Counter hits. What is a counter hit? This occurs when your attack hits the opponent during the startup frames of their own attack. So, in other words, if two players both attack at the same time, but one chooses a slower move, the player that did the quicker attack will land a counter hit. In Tekken, counter hits can do multiple things. They typically do more damage. They can also give your attack more plus frames, give a knockdown, make a string a natural combo, and even reward you with a full combo. Let's look at Kunimitsu's down forward 1-3. If I walk forward, then block, the first hit connects, but the second will be blocked since it's not a natural combo. But if the first hit interrupts any of my attacks, both will hit. These types of strings are called NCC or a natural counter hit combo. Keep in mind, the more negative you are in frames, the more time it takes for your character to recover. If you decide to attack while in this state, it will leave a much larger window of opportunity for the opponent to counter hit you. Let's look at an example. Kazuya's back 4 is -5 on block. If Kazuya attempts to do down forward 2 right after, it will effectively become a 19 frame move. But how did we come to this number of 19? Kazuya's back 4 is -5 on block. The down forward 2 takes 14 frames to start up, and now he needs 5 frames to recover since he's at -5. Therefore, add 5 frames to the start of his next move. 14 plus 5 equal 19, right? This means in this situation, there's a 19 frame window of opportunity to counter hit Kazuya. If he actually does a 20 frame or slower move, then Kazuya's down forward 2 will land a counter hit. If he actually does a 19 frame move, it will trade, but it will still retain its counter hit properties, unlike in previous Tekken games. Take notice of what happens when the trade occurs in this game. Notice how the background becomes much darker, and the game is zoomed in a bit before returning to normal. This is a new thing added to Tekken. You won't see it in previous games. And if he does a move that is 18 frames or quicker, he will land a clean counter hit with no trade. Some characters' game plan revolves heavily around fishing for counter hits. Steve, Brian, and Lee are some good examples of this. To fish for counter hits, you can stick out a move preemptively whenever you think you have a read on the opponent's timing, but it also leaves you open to being whiff punished, or you can even be on the receiving end of a counter hit if you aren't careful. You can do a move that leaves you in many plus frames, like generic running tree, followed by a quick move. If they try to interrupt, you are more than likely to get a free counter hit. Let's look at an example. If Brian does his running 3, which leaves him at +9 on block, followed by 3+4, which has a startup of 18 frames, this basically makes Brian's 3+4 a 9 frame move now. Since Brian is at 9 frames of advantage, we minus 9 frames from the startup of his next move. There's only a few attacks that can be done here that will not result in Brian getting a free counter hit. Take note, your fastest attack will not work here. If you try to press left punch in between both hits, it will give Brian a free counter hit. So, what are our options here? You can preemptively stick out a quick move like a jab to float Brian, since his wild running tree can leave him in an airborne state, then proceed to combo him. It is possible to sidestep or sidewalk the running 3 and punish him. You can do a power crush move to absorb or armor through the attack. This works because a power crush can absorb attacks very quickly, even before the attack becomes active. And some characters have evasive attacks that can be useful when being pressured, like Kazumi's back 1+2 for instance. It's important to remember that plus frames do not necessarily guarantee a safe follow-up. Due to spacing and moves that crush or evade attacks, among other things. This is why trying to attack while in negative frames is typically a bad idea. It's usually better to take a moment to recover and block before considering a next attack. When you get hit, you're usually at minus frames. This is another situation where you typically don't want to continue attacking right away. Let's look at an example. If Lars does his down back 4, it's +5 on hit and forces the opponent to crouch. Take notice, if Laz is +5, then Dragunov is -5. If it's followed by his full crouch down forward 2, which is 15 frames on startup, it becomes a 10 frame move. In this situation, you can't press any buttons. If you do a quick crouch jab, aka down 1 or down back 1, which is 10 frames on startup, you will get a trade which gives Laz a free combo. If you do anything slower, it will give a clean counter hit. If the Laz player thinks you will crouch jab, they can low crush it. On the flip side, if you think they will crush it, it's likely you can sidewalk and punish for a full combo. If you are in rage, however, you can rage at between both hits. It is important to remember that plus frames do not necessarily guarantee a safe follow-up due to spacing and moves that crush or evade attacks, among other things. As you get more experience, you will learn where and or when to consider sneaking attacks in, or where to fish for counter hits. But I wanted to highlight the danger of pressing buttons on negative frames. How to get off from the ground. Typically, when you get knocked down, you're in this position. This is said to be face up, feet towards the enemy. While in this state, you can simply hold back to get off the ground. In previous Tekken games, however, holding back here would cause you to roll back. This could lead to the enemy getting a free combo. But in Tekken 7, you won't roll back. It's actually one of the best ways to get up now. You can press 3, which will give you a low wake up kick. This can lead into a combo if you get a counter hit. And you can press 4 to get a mid wake up kick. These can be blocked and punished, or baited out and whiff punished heavily. You can press 3+4 to wake up with a spring attack. This is very evasive, but can be punished on block, or baited out and whiff punished heavily. There are 3 different types of spring attacks, and they can only be done from the face up, feet towards position. There's the common one you just saw, but Kunimitsu, Yoshimitsu, Modok, Miguel, Steve, Paul, Claudio, and Gigas, their wake up spring attack looks like this. It's much slower than the regular one, but if it is blocked, you can float the opponent with a 10 frame jab, which you can convert into a combo. Eddie, King, and Armor King Their spring attack looks like this. It's the quickest spring attack among the three, but also the riskiest since you are left completely back-turned. From the face up, feet away position, there's a low recovery kick you can do by pressing down in 3 or down in 4. This is a very quick wake up attack, but it's also launch punishable on block. You can also press down and 1 to roll to the foreground, then hold back to wake up. Press 1 to roll towards the background, then hold back to wake up. While you are rolling towards the background or the foreground, you can press 3+4 to execute your wake up spring attack. Some attacks can spike you down, leaving you in a face down, feet away position. In this situation, you want to hold back right away, or else you can give the opponent a free hit that you could otherwise avoid. When in the face down, feet away position, you can still do the wake up low and mid kicks, but they are 4 frames slower now and launch punishable on block. You can still roll to the side by pressing 1 or down 1. You cannot do the wake up spring attack anymore. From this position, you can hold back or up to get off the ground. When you press up, however, you can execute instant while standing kick attacks that start with 3 or 4. This is done by tapping up, then slightly delaying the 3 or 4 input. No while standing punch attacks will work, however. When you get knocked down, just as you hit the ground, you can press 1 or 2 to roll towards the background, or 3 or 4 to roll into the foreground. Doing the quick side roll can get you out of situations like this. They can even be used to get out of fake combos. We just talked about the face up, feet towards position and the face down, feet away position, since they are the most common ways you will encounter. But you can also be face down, feet towards, and face up, feet away. In face down, feet towards, the wake up low kick is launch punishable, but you can get a full combo even without a counter hit if the enemy is close enough. And the wake up mid kick is -14 here, so only a few characters can possibly launch punish. In the face up feet away position, the wake up low kick is -13, so not very punishable, and the wake up mid kick is -14. Just a few characters can potentially launch punish. When you get put into an airborne state, you can do the quick recovery wake up to get off the ground quickly by holding forward. It is safe on block, but can be baited out and launched. Keep in mind, some characters have special wake up options that only they can do as well. There are also specific attacks that put you in a grounded state. For these attacks, you can hold back or use the quick recovery to avoid any potential follow-up. When in a grounded state, you can roll forward by tapping forward once. But keep in mind, doing this on every option from it is typically not a good idea. While rolling forward, press 3 for the low or 4 for the mid kick. These two kicks share the properties of the wake up kicks from the face up, feet towards position. So the wake up low can be converted into a mini combo, the mid will knock down on counter hit, and they are both -12 on block. This is the worst way to wake up consistently. The roll forward by itself will leave you open to getting hit or dealing with a mix-up. And when you add the wake up kicks, you are open to eating a counter hit or a big whiff punish. Here's an example. I've set the CPU to roll forward into the wake up low kick. If timed right, Asuka's while standing 1+2 will land on counter hit, resulting in a devastating combo. Take note, it's possible for this to happen from any of the wake up kicks, but when you do it from a roll forward, it gives the enemy more time to attempt it. The roll forward cross chop. This is probably the best option from a roll forward, but it's still not recommended typically. To do it, you must first be in the face up, feet towards position. Now, just tap forward once, then press 1+2, aka both punches, or tap forward once, then slightly delay the 1+2 input. It's mid and safe on block and leaves you at +2. It can evade highs and even some mids, but it can be baited out and punished, or even floated for a mini combo. Key charge. If you press left punch, left kick, and right kick together, you will perform what is known as a key charge. This state lasts roughly 5 seconds. While in it, any attack that is successful will automatically be given counter hit properties. Any attack that is blocked will do guard damage, aka chip damage. But beware, you cannot block while in this state, and any attack that hits you will be an auto counter hit. Key charge is not a terribly practical thing to use, but some characters can get good but risky setups with it. I don't recommend using this as a new player or not. A lot of times though, they are just used as taunts. Backdash cancel, aka Korean backdash cancel. As the name implies, a backdash cancel is the act of doing a simple backdash by inputting back. Now you cancel it by pressing down back, release the down back, then to continue from here, you just press back, then down back, Keep repeating the back then down back inputs if you want to continue any further. And when you speed it up a little, it will look like this. What is the purpose of this? This is a technique used to move backwards in a quicker and safer way. It is primarily used to make attacks whiff, to gain more opportunities to whiff punish the opponent. Or to avoid attacks and potential mix-ups. It is important to remember you don't typically need more than 2 backdash cancels in most situations. It's also a common mistake for newer players to backdash cancel all the way to the wall. Please avoid doing this so you don't make it easier for the opponent to pressure you at the wall. Characters with backsway motions, such as Paul, Nina, and Brian, are good to practice this. A backsway is the backward motion that's done by doing a reverse fireball input. So that's going from down to down back to back quickly in one motion. That can look like this. It's common to get a backsway by accident when trying to backdash cancel with these characters. This is very dangerous since you cannot block while doing this motion. If your inputs are clean, you will get a backdash cancel. Otherwise, you may get a backsway or some other form of misinput. Turn on your command history and try repeating these inputs. Basic defense. In this game, neutral blocking exists. This means that if you do nothing, you will automatically block highs and mids. However, with neutral blocking, you allow yourself to be opened up by multiple hits, like this. It can be risky to do this consistently, which is why I never recommend it. So always hold back to block mids and highs. But now, by holding back, you're open to lows and throws, right? We talked earlier about how you look at the different hand animations of the throw to break them on reaction consistently. This leaves us with lows. There's basically 2 types of lows in the game. There's slow lows you can react to, which is commonly referred to as seeable lows. How slow is a seeable low exactly is up for debate. It can depend on the animation of the move and how many frames they take to start up. You need to react to lows that are around 25 to 30 frames on startup at least though. Let's practice reacting to a popular seeable low in the game. Pick Claudio and choose Brian as your secondary character. Pick any of the 3 infinite stages, Infinite Azure 1, Infinite Azure 2, or Arctic Snowfall. Open menu. Go to the Action Settings tab. CPU Opponent Action 1. Repeat Action. Repeat Action 1. Record. Now record a 1 jab followed by down forward 3, aka snake edge, with no gaps between, like this. Go to repeat action 2, record. Now, record a 1 jab, followed by down forward 4, with no gaps between, like this. Make sure and leave these numbers the same. To help keep it random, I'm going to hit play and hold back. I will crouch block only if I see the snake edge animation come out. When you start getting used to seeing the animation, I want you to launch punish it, either with a wild stand in 2 or up forward 4, aka hop kick. If you really want to test yourself, go to the other settings tab, input delay. Now pick the 3 yellow bars. This will simulate what a 3 bar connection can feel like when you fight online. As you can see, it's still possible to block it on reaction, even with the 3 bars of input delay. This brings us to unseeable lows. These are lows you cannot react to. You can think of them as chip damage, since they don't usually hurt a lot. Unseeable lows that do good damage or puts the player in an advantageous situation are usually very punishable on block, and or easily sidesteppable or sidewalked. Here's what you can do against these lows. You can make a guess and use a low crushing move like a hop kick, which will do a lot of damage. For example, if you get hit by several down 2s by Dragunov, all it takes is one good read on the opponent's timing and or pattern, and you'll inflict more damage with that one hop kick. You can guess and do the universal low parry. This is done by timing a down forward input with a low attack. A successful low parry will look like this. While in this state, you can use the screw attack combo extender. Unlike Tekken 6 and Tekken Tag 2, which didn't allow a combo extender to be used with a low parry. Let's practice low parrying. Go to the Action Settings tab, CPU Opponent Action 1, Repeat Action, Repeat Action 1, record a 1 jab, then quickly press back 2, 3, 4. Repeat Action 2, record a 1 jab, then do back 2, but slightly delay the 3 input. Repeat Action 3, record a single jab, followed by back 2, then quickly press down forward 4, like this. And finally, record a single jab, followed by back 2 only. Make sure these numbers are the same to help keep it random. And now let it play. If you notice the animation of the tree coming out, then low parry with down forward. Otherwise, make sure not to get hit by down forward fall. This is a good drill to help you get used to low parrying and looking for a specific animation. You can use movement including sidestepping, sidewalking, backdash canceling, and or a combination of all three to make the lows whiff as well. And lastly, you can try preemptively interrupting the low if you have a read on the opponent's timing, ideally with a 10 frame jab, generic 1-2 punches, or pending on the character, a 10 frame jab string, and quick mids like a generic 13 frame down forward 1 or a generic down forward 4. If the low you're trying to interrupt doesn't crush highs, then it could be a better option to try interrupting with the quick highs instead of the mids. Quick lows that you cannot react to are good for opening up the opponent and creating a life lead, but as you can see, they can be very risky if used too much and or in a predictable way. If you made it this far into the video, congrats! You've reached the end of my beginner tutorial. There were some extra things I wanted to cover, but I think this is a good spot to stop for now. Consider subscribing and liking the video if you found the video helpful. If you are interested in getting help with Tekken, you can reach out to me via Twitter when I live stream on Twitch or on Discord. You can find these links in the description. You can also suggest Tekken content you would like to see me cover in the comment section. Thanks for watching.